everyone, Defcamp here, and welcome to DefTalk, the talk show that focuses on everything World of Warcraft, whether it's classic, retail, or the players that play it. Today we have with us, of course, the lovely Melderon. How you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Yes. And our very, very special guest today, we have with us Kargoz. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, dude. Thank you so much for coming and showing us who you are and what you're up to, and I'm so excited to have you on, man. So, are you ready? You ready to get started?
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here, man. I couldn't think of a better place to be right now.
Awesome, dude. So, first place I like to start off with all our guests. When and how were you introduced to WoW?
Okay, let me think here. So I was doing a video the other day, right? It was supposed to be top 15 games of all time for me. And I was looking back at all the games that mean a lot to me. And I realized that 2004 was a hell of a year as far as games. So we had WoW, but we also had Halo 2. If you see Halo 2 back there, that's a game that's near and dear to my heart. There's a couple other like big titles that came out in 2004. It was a great year for gaming, but Halo 2 came out before WoW. And I'm playing Halo 2. I'm having a blast. I was super hyped for it. I remember, queuing up for the Xbox back then. And I went over to a family friend's house, and I saw this kid, Simus, and he was riding around on his mount. He was like level 40. He was a troll, and he was riding through the crossroads of the Barrens or something. I saw him like loot an herb or something, and he got into a fight. And I instantly knew as soon as I saw him playing it, this game is for me. This is the best thing ever. Like this, just the serotonin level spiked. I knew this was what I needed to do. I beelined it. I immediately signed up and made my first Tauren Warrior, man. And I introduced the game to my friends, and it was pretty much a wrap from there. And all my close friends that I introduced the game to, they had that same kind of rush, man. They just knew. The second they log in, they hear the Elwyn Forest music, they hear whatever they're playing. It was a wrap for their life.
I've been chasing that high ever since, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you just like you get teleported into that into that world, and you're just like, wow, this is like so cool. And for us, like people like, I don't know if it was your first MMO, but it was our first MMO, so we hadn't played anything like that. So it was just a huge experience for us.
Yeah,
for sure.
And even online games at the time was kind of a little bit new to me, man. I was a little young teen or whatever, but like. Even the idea back then, it was still pretty cool to be online gaming in general. Like I played some Counter-Strike online and stuff like that, but the idea you're in this massive world, oh man, it was just so cool.
Yeah, our only real online gaming, we played a lot of Halo online. On the PC. Remember those days, Phil?
Oh, God,
like we literally.
The original
Halo
one, right?
1. Yeah,
with the pistol, you were just like headshotting people from across the yeah.
You had those like 4 or 5 maps. I forget. I was like
Blood Gulch,
Blood Gulch, and I'd go in there and I'd just kind of troll. Like I was a really, really hard troll back then. Like I was like 16, 17 years old, trolling all these people, and that was my experience with like online games. Everything other than that, I had like a PS2. I played all the like great PS2 games and all, and then I played WoW for the first time, and it was like everything I thought that I ever wanted in a game, like packed in this one little package, big package.
Well said.
And ever since then, no game has ever gave me the same feeling that WoW has.
I'll tell a little quick story here. So on my first character ever. I talked about this the other day with my friend. So my first character ever. So did you ever play Xbox at all? Did you ever play Xbox Live? Anything like that?
Yeah.
They generate you a random name if you want, right? So I had a randomly generated name, and it was like one adjective and then a noun. That was just their formula. So my randomly generated name at the time was Sharper Edge. So I went into World of Warcraft and I made a Tauren Warrior and I named him Sharper Edge. And I went and I did Camp Narachi and I walked out. And I guess it was Easter or something going on because I saw these high levels going around and looting eggs, right? And it just blew my friggin' mind that you could get eggs in this game and cook in this game and make a little apple pie or whatever they're making, like in this amazing Mulgore. The music was going off. It was just so amazing to me. I was awe-inspired, dude. I was awestruck.
His own little world, man, inside this game, yeah. And there was so much to learn. Like I remember logging in for one of the first times and just being like completely lost into how many, you see like the world chat, the trade chat, people were using these like PST, and 1 2 do LFG RFD. I'm like, what the hell language are they friggin' speaking? Like what the fuck are they talking about? I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
I had so much to learn, and like I couldn't get enough information. Like I was just asking all these people, what does this mean? What does this mean? Like I just wanted to learn everything as fast as I could. It's crazy because there's so much to learn as a new player, like coming into WoW. There's so many things that we take for granted now because it's like you have all this information that we've accumulated through all these years. But logging on like those first few times, having no idea what's going on, it was kind of
it was just amazing, yeah.
So did you stick with the Tauren, or did you? How far?
No,
did you get
like everyone else, man. I rerolled at 17. I rerolled. I was like, "Fuck this!" If you can imagine leveling a Tauren warrior for the first time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But before I logged off, though, and I was done with him, that was my second really vivid memory from the time. It was me making that first journey to the crossroads from Mulgore. So you exhaust all the quests in the area, and you're killing the harpies, and you're doing whatever you got to do. And eventually, you got to find your way to the crossroads. And I was hopelessly lost, like a little noob, just lost in the sauce, walking around. Because at the time, you had like Alakazam and Thoughtbot, but I probably didn't even know about that back then, right? So I'm just walking around, and this undead guy is sitting there, and maybe I asked him or something, and he was like, "Yeah, follow me. I'm going to take you to the crossroads." So we go through Mulgore, and we walk through, and you go into the Southern Barrens, right? Which is a way higher area. Like
yes.
they were all red level and stuff. The little the dinosaur things, and all the mobs over there were red level. And I'm going through there, and I see like all these different races for the first time. Someone rides by in a mount real quick. Already, this undead guy's blowing my mind because he was dual wielding or something. It was already shocking to me. Making my way to the crossroads this time, I felt like I was in like a Disney movie or something. Like it was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about this. Like, I have a very similar, experience when I was first. Like, my first character was undead, and once you hit the starting area, you're like, okay, now where do I go? Because they're like, okay, go get these pumpkins or whatever, and then they say, oh, deliver this thing to Magistrate Severin and Brill, and you're like, well, where the hell is Brill? You know what I mean? You have no idea where Brill is.
God.
So it's so you have to like find where Brill is, and you have to like, and then you see people running by on mounts or like with really cool looking armor, and you're like, who is that dude? Is he like a magic guy or something? Is he like So it's like that first experience, man.
That's such a good point. Like when you bring up because nowadays, like we have so many add-ons that just tell you where to go, point you here, point you there. But like back then, especially as a new player, I didn't even know about add-ons. Didn't even know about like Thoughtbot and Alakazam. I did Google things once in a while, and that's how I found Thoughtbot. But most of the time, you were kind of forced to ask people in game for help. Exactly. And like you don't see even on private servers, like you don't see that as much. It was so you were like forced to be social, in vanilla, whether it was, being a noob and asking questions or trying to figure out something like for a quest, where's Mankirk's wife, all this like, stuff that has become like a meme nowadays. But it was so like you were just completely forced to be social. I miss that so much. I
do miss that too, man. And I guess we can't ever recreate that with the internet and all these guides and everything now and stuff, but it was amazing. I have a question. Who started WoW first, though? Was it Phil that started WoW?
Yeah. So the story goes. Well, so the story is, I had a buddy in the military. He was in the Coast Guard, which isn't really the military, right? So
the Coast Guard.
No, the Coast Guard guys get a lot of shit. But anyway, so like he was living in Cape May, New Jersey, and I was in Philly at the time. And he's like, "Yo, come down. We're gonna go out for the weekend or whatever." So I go down to his house on Friday night, and we go out, whatever we do. Wherever. I was in my early 20s, so you can imagine what I was doing. So we get back, and I crash. The next morning, he has to go into work for some reason. And he's like, all right, dude, I have to go to work. I'll be back in 8 hours. There's this game you should try. It's called WoW. It's called World of Warcraft. He's like, here's the character creation screen. Make a character. So I made an undead warrior, and that 8 hours went by like it was like,
I bet, yeah.
I didn't think I even peed. And then like he comes back, and he comes back, and he's like, so what'd you think? And I'm like, dude, this game's awesome. The very next day, I drove back to Philly, went to Best Buy, bought a new computer, and bought
brand new PC.
That's PC. Legit, yeah. Like and then
he lived with me at the time. So
yeah, I was still living at home, and then I introduced Defcamp to the game. That's how it basically went down. And we shared an account for a long time. We shared
an account. Yeah, we fought over who would have the time to play at certain time. Like we were like killing each other at each other's throats for, no, dude, you played enough. I want to get on now. I gotta do this. I gotta level my guy up.
That's awesome though. That is so awesome. I mean, so wait, you started roughly the same time, or did he get a few months in first?
Same day, pretty much.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. But he started Horde. I started on Alliance because yeah, I was definitely
He wasn't awakened at the time.
no, I wasn't awakened. I wasn't
Oh,
woke
man.
yet. But
That's
yeah, I
funny,
started
man.
on a night elf rogue because I don't know, like the whole lore of like Lord of the Rings and all that. Like I don't know, I just didn't want to. I didn't know enough about the game. Didn't know like what the characters were. I figured, the Alliance. These guys are like the good guys. I'll play them, and boy, have I learned a lot since then.
That's awesome, man.
So, Kargoz, so you switched to what? Sorry, we got off track. So after the warrior, what did you wind up rolling?
Yeah, so I was a warrior. Then I had the what do they call it? Alt syndrome or whatever. So I went
Altaholic.
warrior. Yeah, altaholic. I went warrior. Then what did I go after warrior? I went. I think I went alliance for a little while. Yeah, I leveled up a dwarf paladin. I leveled him for a while, and then the paladin was just exhausting, just auto attacking stuff to death. I remember I made it to the wetlands and I died to some of the orcs there up in the hills, and I was like, "Fuck this! All right, I'm done." So, then I re-rolled horde, and then I made a. There's probably a few little lowby characters in between, but ultimately I ended up going with an orc hunter named Kargoz,
Nice.
and here we are today.
So let's go into briefly. For people, anyone in our community who doesn't know who you are, can you please introduce yourself and what you do? We should have done that first, but now that you said your name,
Yeah.
your hunter, just real quick, just tell us who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great idea. So my name is James. That people call me Kargoz. That's been my online moniker since I was 14 or whatever, how old we were back then. I make YouTube videos. I'm starting to stream right now. I'm a big streaming noob, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to learn about it. And I make YouTube videos, and I love World of Warcraft. It's one of my greatest passions. And in my civilian career, I work in the games industry, more specifically the esports industry. And then I'm also in the U.S. Army National Guard, so I'm a reservist there. And I'm originally from New York City. That's where I was raised. But I just moved to San Francisco and bought a house, and I'm just chilling here with my 2 dogs and my fiance, and that's where I'm at right now.
Excellent.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know who Kargoz is, check out his video. He's got a lot of videos, he's got a good quality, high quality videos, and he's a very successful channel. And I think my favorite video is the one you made, the leveling comparison. And that video is, the leveling comparison and the nostalgia, like why Classic was so good. Those 2 videos are like great, like great.
And
Thanks so
oh
much,
my
man.
god,
Yeah,
like
everything
I
else is
remember
good too, but those are really
and the
good.
one you had, was it about the like the PvP? You go over like the one. You did such an extensive amount of research on that one. It was like the dueling.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, the
my
dueling one. Yeah.
god, dude! Like so much research went into that, and the way the editing, you did everything like that, just amazing work. So if you guys haven't checked out Kargoz, you got to do it. You got to do it.
I
Very
appreciate
passionate
you.
about vanilla as well, which is
I was pretty confident in my research abilities and all that. And then last night I was watching this guide. It was on shaman leveling. And he was getting into the P values and the A values and the alpha. And I was cracking up, dude. It was legit though. It was super legit. Like he was actually approaching this from an academic way. But that is, I don't think that there's another guide out there in the world that goes into it on that level. I think you actually have the crown right now, dude.
So it was
The
really
Melderon's
interesting.
guy?
Yeah, I could be totally wrong about this. Yeah, he's talking about mine. He's like, he sent me a message I think a couple hours ago. He's like, dude, what is up with this shit? But basically, if these theory crafters, if they did multiple replicates, they could do some easy stats, and I'm sure they do. I don't know if they do or not, but like if you're running these like analyses more than once or twice, you have a set of replicates that you can run error on and get an average and run statistics on. But I don't see a lot of people doing it. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. But and I'm in no ways a very good theory crafter. I'm a very junior level theory crafter. But these guys who are doing it a lot more can definitely run some stats on
yeah,
them.
there definitely are people out there who like Taldril, for instance, who just go out
that guy is a legend, man. I just watched that a few minutes ago. He's so smart, right? He just like
so much information. Like it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was on that level of like, I'm working on my pre-sky, which will be coming out soon. And the first part is about leveling, and it's basic, a lot of good knowledge, but I always feel like I'm kind of like on a peg below a lot of these like big theory crafters and stuff. So I'm just like, I'm gonna try as hard as I can and put as much information as I can out there and see what happens. But
no, you guys do an excellent job. And before the video goes too far and people start dropping off or whatever is the case with videos are, I gotta formally state, you guys are probably my favorite channel at the moment. I can super relate with you guys. You're the realest out. The brotherly love is there, and like you wear your hearts out on a sleeve. You're so transparent. you're just like good when you make content. Like you'll always plug the person who made it or whatever it is. Like you do the right thing, and you guys are just gonna go to the moon and back. Like I have no doubts in my mind. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
that
Kargoz.
means
That means a lot,
dude.
dude. Definitely. I mean, it's nice to hear that, because what we try to do in this channel is one of our biggest things is if we none of us are 100% like this. We're working on a game that's already made, so we're not 100% original to begin with, right? We're taking inspiration from something that's already there, and a lot of my inspiration comes from people like you and other content creators. So we try to make sure that we shout out people who are assisting us in providing in what we do. Because like we're not doing this alone. We have a huge community of people we're standing upon. So I don't want to say we're standing on them, but what I'm saying is we have a huge community of people that are backing
standing
us.
together, basically.
And we stand together, and then I try to, even if it's someone who's not a content creator, just be like, even if it's somebody who's commenting, just be like, yo, thanks for this comment, dude. You know what I mean?
You guys are so relatable. The fact that you can do Def Talks with anyone, even viewers, the fact that you guys are just very empathetic people. You guys have been in a position where you really empathize with the lowest common denominator, and you're so fucking real, dude. Like you're realer than I could ever be. I just know that as a fact. Like you guys are just so real and so approachable and down to earth, and and humble when it comes to a lot of this shit that you guys are gonna just do so well, man. You're gonna blow past me in subs, that's for sure.
Thanks, man.
We have a pretty long ways to go. But thanks, man. Regardless, that's really nice to say.
It's amazing though how the community, we've really met some amazing people through doing this, and I think that's the best part of this is the people that we meet, and just yourself and all the people that we've met. That has been, I think, the biggest reward out of all. So let's get out of the gushy and thank you though, Kargoz.
I appreciate it.
You've been a huge inspiration on us. So obviously, so I could say you're for the.
Man, I'm for Warcraft, but you kind of go back and forth with it, right? Like I was Horde for the longest time. I really appreciated the aesthetic of the Horde and going through it. I'm sort of like really appreciating the Alliance a little bit, but I guess time spent. I've spent way more time Horde. So
yeah, I have an issue obviously where I love Paladins in vanilla because I love the Holy Paladins.
Yeah. But
I am, my first character was Alliance, but I really feel closer to the Horde. But there's something, and especially when you're playing like on a server right now, and the PvP is just intense. It's so intense right now. And you're going to Dire Maul and you're getting ganked every time. You're going here, they're at the Flight Master, and it really makes you hate the opposite faction. Like I've never hated the Alliance more than I do right now at this moment. It's just. It's so bad.
And it's the lack of communication between them too, right? There's no BNet friends list. You're not messaging fucking John Smith like, "Hey, dude, stop yanking me." It's like it almost emulates real life. How there's people of other cultures, and you develop this hatred. It's kind of the human condition. You have that in vanilla, which kind of makes it even more awesome.
And if you go far enough to make a character on the opposite faction and get high enough level to whisper them, then they know they got you because you're so triggered that you went and did that.
You leveled a character to level 10. Yeah, or 15. Yeah, exactly. It's just a whisper.
You can't go. You can't do that. So you have to either. And it sucks. Like I'm a priest right now. I'm holy. I'm disc/holy spec. So I can't really defend myself. You know what I mean? Like I sit there smiting people. And then I get one hit by warriors. So it's kind of frustrating. I love the fact that I'm a healer. I'm doing what I love to do. But I wish I could just go shadow and whatever. You know what I mean? And just pwn some people.
You can. That's you can for a small fee.
level an alt. So level my rogue up and. Getting some noobs.
Yeah. So we keep going in circles, but anyway, this is good. This is a good conversation.
This is good. Man.
So hunters, you're a hunter. What made you fall in love with a hunter, and why did you get him or her to 60? I'm not sure what race and sex.
This is something I've realized over the many years of playing WoW. Leveling is my favorite part of the game. It just is. I like the raiding. I'll do it. What keeps me going to show up to raid night on time every time is just the people. I'm there, but it's not my favorite thing. I love leveling, and I love being self-reliant. I love being independent. I love being able to handle some badass elite mobs by myself. And even in real life, it translates into my real life. I'm best when I'm running when stuff is just on me and I'm solo. I actually function the best there. And I don't know. I relate with the hunters. They're the masters of solo play. They can go out there and solo dungeons and Also, I love dogs. I love animals. I have two German shepherds right now, so
That's awesome.
those are my little fur babies, and I can relate with just having dogs and stuff, and being Phil was saying it. I've never been like an RPer, but then I've also realized that I actually am an RPer because I play World of Warcraft and I play these characters, and I relate with you in a lot of things. You said you never played a female character, right? That's the same thing for me, dude. I never played a female character. Yeah. I never understood it. Everyone's playing a Blood Elf female, so they're running around. And I kind of realized through you, Phil, that I sort of am a role player. I see these characters and these races and classes, and I'm like, that's what I think would be cool. If I lived in the Warcraft universe, that's what I would want to identify.
That's how I picture it. Yeah, I picture that character as an extension of myself.
Yeah,
exactly.
And since I don't see myself as a woman, which is nothing wrong with that, but I can't play a female character. That's just the way
I know what you mean. It's I've done it like once on one of my, and it just didn't feel right. But it's so cool, like when you see someone's personality go into the character that they play. Because I was talking about how I like to heal, and like I like to be that person who, is sometimes not exactly like at the front of attention, but you're in, you're someone who's needed. You're someone who's likes to help, who likes to be there to maybe bring people together to hold people, make sure that they can do what they got to do. I really feel that the personality really goes to the role that you pick, and that's so true with what you said with the hunter, because and what's great about WoW, what I wanted to say first, I totally forgot about this, is like there's no other expansion or point in WoW where leveling is such a big part of the game.
Bingo. Yep.
Leveling is like just as big, if not as big as part as endgame in vanilla.
And you said it on the Taladrill DefTalk. Like you can go your whole WoW career and not even and just be leveling. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you could be leveling. Like you're just I agree, man. I think that's probably one of the major factors in why I like vanilla so much.
And some people, oh, dude, how could you? I know people who are play the newer versions of WoW, and like, how the hell could you not play on like a 5x server? And how could you stand doing all these quests over and over again? Like, it was such a, even though like I have some stripes about the Alliance and all, it was such a amazing experience to go back to the Alliance for the first time and ever since like the pre-Cata quests, and experience those quests again, because like it was so nostalgic. And for Melderon, he never even like experienced so many of these quests because he's always played Horde.
Yeah.
And it was like experiencing WoW through new eyes all over again, And like if you've never tried playing a healer or playing a tank, like doing that for the first time and leveling. I love like leveling up, doing dungeons, meeting people. It's such a big part of the game in vanilla. And I think that gets overshadowed sometimes by the end game because, a lot of people try to focus on that. But definitely in vanilla, the leveling is such a big part. And I think it's one of those instances where it really shines when you see people who, there are people who are just content leveling, who'll just get to 60, do their thing and then make another character and start leveling.
I almost feel, I made like a speed leveling guide the other day, and I do enjoy speed leveling for various reasons. It's kind of therapeutic for me, but I almost felt a little bit guilty about it because when I see guys like from Phil, I feel like you guys play WoW for like the best reasons. You guys are just like compassionate empaths. Like you play WoW, Phil is going to play a resto shaman and level. You know what I mean? There's some translation towards how you are as a person in real life towards how it is in Warcraft. Like I don't know, you can kind of get a sense of what kind of person you are. If you're just like min-maxing all the time, and you're a certain. I'm not saying you're a bad person. You're just a certain type of person.
Yeah.
When I see your guys' videos and you're going out there and you're playing WoW, and you're leveling as resto, and you want to be the underdog, you can relate with the underdog, and you're going off the beaten path. I love that, dude. That is so awesome. Like, yeah.
So I think you hit on a lot on some really good points, and the first one I'd like to hit on is I think if everyone should try this. You should make a character when Classic comes out. Make a character, level them as fast as you can, and do endgame content. Then make an alt, and level as slow as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Go to every single questing hub. Go to every dungeon.
Do your professions.
Yeah. Yep. Because it's really worth the time to do that. And as far as your point about resto, so I think there's two kinds of people in WoW. There's the people who min-max who get this level as quick as they can, and that's fine. That's great. It's video game. And then I think there's people who kind of take their time and try to enjoy it and try to maybe play, class fantasy kind of thing, right? And I think that's kind of the two different. You can have people in the middle, sure, but I think those are the two like ends of the spectrum. And I think I'm somewhere closer to the class fantasy thing as I've gotten older, because I have become much more of a casual now than I was early when I was younger, and that's just because I have less time.
And I think okay, yeah,
but
that's
a good
point.
That's part of it.
Yeah, it's a part of it. I think maybe over the years too. To be honest with you, I would have the most fun in WoW. Back in the day when you're a youth, you want to actually be selfish and maybe get like the best gear and be the best and stuff. But I actually have the most fun when I see other people having a lot of fun. You know what I mean? When you can promote that sense of community, people are going out there, they're having a great time. That's actually what makes me the happiest when I'm playing right now. To be honest with you,
I know exactly.
It's not so much the rat race of getting my own gear. I've been there, dude. I've rat raced it through enough expansions at this point that it doesn't really do that much for me. I know what it feels like to be Biss, you know what I mean? It's fine, but it's it's more about the community now at this point for me at least.
I totally agree with that. Like Melderon and I, like the other day, sometimes people are in a rush, they don't have as much time. That's fine, and it really, again, it shows on your personality. But I love Melderon and I, somebody had missed a quest, and we wanted to stay with him, make sure he got his quest done, did all this that for us is really part of the game. Like those interactions that you have with people, meeting someone that you never met before, or maybe someone who you did a dungeon with one time who helped you out, and now you want to stay and help him out to get his quest done, or to help him do something. And it's like that camaraderie you get and that feeling of just friendship that you get with someone that is completely a stranger who's you never met before, who could be living on the other side of the world, yet you have this feeling of camaraderie.
It's so true. And there's some thread that unites us all. I don't know what it is. I'm struggling to figure out what it is. But there's a certain type of person in the world that feels compelled enough to play World of Warcraft and to log in and to do what we do. And there's some sort of just inherent bond with those people. There's some sort of compassion you got to feel to those people. I don't know if they're struggling with some stuff. And even in the point, I'm not saying everyone is struggling with stuff. Everyone has their own demons. Everyone's fighting their own great battles. But for whatever reason, the fact that we're all compelled to jump in and log in and play WoW, we gotta treat each other better, man, with more compassion and stuff. Because, like you said, Phil, we have a reputation for being kind of toxic, at least the private server community and all that. And I'd really like to see that change, if we're just better to each other.
Yeah, because it's going to make the game better. Because the game's such a social game to begin with that if you have a negative social atmosphere, it kind of makes the game not fun. And I think that you have to have you don't have to, but I think a positive social atmosphere will really, really, really make Classic even more of a success than it already will be.
Yeah, it'll enhance the gameplay. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because think about it. I mean, it's a game that it's like real. It's the only game that I think of as actually like real life, where you have to have social interactions with people to get anything done. Right? You want to get married, you have to have a social interaction with someone. you want to get a job, you have to have a social interaction with your boss. All these things in life that you need social interactions for. This is one of the few games that actually requires it. And if you're going to have a negative social atmosphere, you're going to have a negative gameplay experience.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just think that the less we talk crap to people, if someone asks you a dumb question, just answer it. Don't be a dick. Just answer it. It's not
Take
that hard
the high road and realize this is a little PSA. Realize that most likely everyone you meet in World of Warcraft, you'd probably buy them a beer in real life. Yeah. Be honest.
Yeah.
You meet some random pleb at the bar, you're out doing some event, and you meet some people, and they're just some successful whatever they're doing in their little career. They're great, they're fine. But if you met someone who plays vanilla WoW, you'd be like, "What's up, bro? Let's go grab a beer right now. I got you. It's so nice to meet you, man." So just imagine those people that everyone you interface with in the game, instead of being a dick, just think that you'd probably buy them a beer in real life.
And even though you might have a difference in opinion when it comes to even things like changes versus no changes, world buffs, this and that, we all have a love for the game, and that should come before everything, anything.
Absolutely.
The love for the game that we have, whether and that's a thing that really bothers me, is you see online someone has a difference of opinion and you automatically feel like you need to attack this person just because they have a different opinion. That is, we need to understand that these are human beings on the other side of this computer, and I think, by doing that, by practicing, realizing that, okay, this person has a difference of opinion, that's fine. Is it really going to affect me in any way? No. You know what I mean? This person has a love for the game, just like I do. And, that's, you obviously probably have more things in common than you don't. So why not look at that and see that, we both have a love for the game. And so I think sometimes, a lot of people get on the defensive, especially when it comes to WoW, because there's so much emotion involved into it. There's so much love that people have for the game. But I think if we try to realize that, okay, this is someone's opinion, just that, and kind of realize that, we're all in this together, playing the game that we love, kind of have better relationships.
Definitely. We're already a small enough community, you know what I mean? Like with all these other bigger games coming out and stuff, we got to band together a little bit more.
Absolutely. So as far as your career so you started playing in vanilla, obviously. Now, did you was like rating a part of your thing in vanilla? Or okay?
I didn't get to Nax or anything, but we did. What did we do? We did MC, BWL, Oni, ZG, and AQ20, and I didn't complete AQ40. I remember doing AQ40 a bunch of times, but I don't think we ever completed.
A lot of people didn't.
A lot of people didn't finish off.
I was on the Dark Iron server. I was in a guild called Tetragrammaton. Shout out to Max the Ripper, my friend. We raided together. He's still my boy. So we played their Dark Iron, and I don't think we ever completed AK40. So I'm super excited to potentially do Nax and Classic.
Awesome. So that's
Cthulhu wasn't an easy boss. So I think
no, it was not. A lot of people got stuck on Cthulhu. A lot of people even gave up on Cthulhu and went into Nax, and got not that far into there as well. I mean, only a few people got that far into Nax. So definitely continuing where you left off is something that you plan on doing once Classic comes out.
Yes, absolutely.
How about as far as PvP? Do you have any inspirations?
Yeah, I got to
14 or.
Yeah, no, not rank 14, but I got to like Knight Lieutenant or something. I was able to get the shoulders. I was able to get a couple of the pieces, and I remember just feeling like super cool about my character because I looked pretty matching. I always was into the fan of looking cool in the game. That's why I think I may be an RPer. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think we all got a little RP in us.
Yeah. Definitely. So when my character's looking cool, like I'm feeling better. So I definitely did some PvP for sure, and that's one of the aspects. Even in retail right now. So I still play retail. I bought BFA. I leveled to 120. But I'm just waiting for the PvP season to start. I'm going to do 3s. I'll probably run Thug or KFC. Still maining Hunter, and Hunters are in a great spot in BFA right now. I tell you, they're really strong right now. So
let me ask you a question. A little off topic with the whole Classic, but how do you feel? Give me like a rating of BFA. What you personally feel about it.
Well, it's like what the most all-time best-selling expansion, whatever the data that Blizzard released the other day. That's
it has the highest sales. Yep.
Highest sales.
Wow.
It didn't draw me in. It felt like an extension of Legion. I enjoyed Legion, though. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Legion. I thought it was one of my favorite expansions. It was one of my favorite expansions. But like you said, if leveling is one of my favorite parts of the game, or if not my favorite part of the game, it's just I'm not going to like it as much. So I think BFA is good for what it does. There's a couple different things that I feel opinionated about BFA on. One thing is the in-game cinematics, and I think that most people like these in-game cinematics. So I'm in the minority. It's fine. Go ahead. Like just run with it. It's fine. Yeah, make data-driven decisions. The majority enjoy it. But the in-game cinematics, it looks like Naruto, Bleach kind of anime, like Jaina. Like I'm looking at them, they got the little weeby eyes and stuff. It doesn't. I thought World of Warcraft was supposed to be like the serious, kind of more macabre Diablo 2 type.
Yeah,
we're supposed to take this thing seriously. I'm watching, and I feel like it's Moana craft. Like I'm thinking it's Frozen, like Disney princess. Like I want to feel like I'm in some dark, badass world. And you guys did the graphics video. The graphics video was lit. I really liked the graphics video. And when you go back,
you're the minority on that one, Doug.
I know. It's fine though, and I like BFA. I'm gonna play BFA, and I feel like Whiny's saying it because I also came to the realization like a little while ago that I don't know if I could imagine World of Warcraft without the retail beast that we have, in the sense that there's no arena, there's none of those BGs they created, there's none of the stuff that I've experienced. It might be kind of weird thinking if Classic could stand on its own 2 feet as its standalone game. I almost feel like they need each other to coexist.
That's a good
retail
point.
Classic needs retail apparently, and the majority of my people that subscribe to my channel are actually retail players. They're not Classic. I kind of came in like midway, like in a weird way, but
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think
So
you always had a passion for WoW, and like something like you said, like I recently, I played Legion up until the last raid. I did the whole Mythic raid scene, did some PvP stuff like that, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Mythic Plus. I thought that was a great addition. Mythic Plus Dungeons, I thought was a great addition to the game. There are some things that I did like about the new game. I didn't give BFA a try. Unfortunately, I'm kind of too much into what I'm doing right now on the private servers, but I definitely think, like you said, having the two games exist together, I think is a really good point because they are two totally different games. They are, but at the core, they share the same title. You have things like that happen in the lore that I'm not too happy with. Like I kind of have a differentiate like of the old lore and what the lore is today because I like to follow the lore, but I definitely do follow it. I keep up with it, and yeah, these things I understand that things have to change and that, but like you said with the cinematics, I do feel that the game has taken a change.
It's more kiddie, right? It's just kind of more kiddie,
yes.
to be honest. And you said it in one of your videos, Def. You said like, they're making it harder and harder for me to like invest. It's an investment. You invest into this IP, into the lore. You invest, and I was personally crushed with how Halo was evolved. Let me tell you, I love Halo. And I liked Halo before it was like the super mainstream thing. I followed all the Bungie posts and I was super into the lore. I read all the books with Halo. I was an ultra nerd Halo. And then seeing it kind of devolve into the kind of mainstream, like, the stakeholders
exactly
getting
what's
involved. You create like 9 million different games and spin-offs and all this. I feel you, bro. Like I want to invest into an IP that's kept very strict and very cohesive and all this. And I don't know, yeah.
So Tips put out a video yesterday, and I think his theory on why the BFA sales were so high are pretty valid. I think a lot of people are in the mindset that if they buy BFA, they won't have to buy the classic game. So basically, what he's saying is that there's going to be a bundle. So when you buy BFA, you get classic, and Tips thinks that's one of the main reasons why BFA has such high sales. Because people are assuming that since they already bought BFA, they'll get Classic bundled in when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tips' theory.
I'll admit, I did log on to my account, was it like 2 weeks ago? I had like 4 million gold on my character, and I bought BFA with the gold.
No way. Did you really?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, you can buy WoW time with gold.
Oh, that's nutty, dude. That's awesome.
So I had to get like 4 or 5 WoW tokens, whatever, which didn't even really put a dent in my gold, which is insane when you think about it. You don't have to pay anymore. And I did that mainly for that reason because I'm thinking if I get, it wasn't a pre-purchase. It was after BFA came out. If I get this now, will that mean that I get Classic for free? So I did it. So hopefully...
I guarantee that's why the sales are so high, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad game. I'm just saying that's why it's probably so high.
People are having a blast. Let me tell you, though, on the Facebook groups and stuff, people are loving it, dude. And it's still World of Warcraft at the end of the day, so I want them to have a good time. I'm glad World of Warcraft is still relevant in 2018. Let me ask you a question.
Is it amazing?
This might be crazy, but could we even have World of Warcraft Classic if it wasn't for all the marketing dollars invested into all the expansions and stuff?
No.
You know what I mean? Like they invested millions of dollars, even in a changing world where the games industry is changing. There's been so many models that have come and gone with the microtransactions and paywalls and stuff. They've kept World of Warcraft strong. They've kept making expansions. They've kept putting marketing dollars into it. They've kept it going, and kind of now we can have World of Warcraft Classic. So
That's
I don't know.
True. We kind of owe it to, and that like. I don't think I believe that they're doing a great job. Like when it comes to the cinematic team, like there might be some gripes that I have with it, but like the old soldier cinematic they did, that was amazing. I thought cool. With Sourfang and the stories that they tell and the way they do it, they have some amazing people working there at Blizzard. Amazing people. Did some things change when they merged with Activision that kind of took a different turn? Yeah. Do I see eye to eye with them on everything? No, of course not. But I really do believe that, WoW still in its core, in its heart, is still, what's a way to put this? It's not the game that I fell in love with before. It's not, vanilla BC. But in a way, it's still the same entity in a way. It's hard to describe for me. It's still the same, like, almost like a friend that I've had, or over all these years, and I still will look at it in fondness. I still look at it and say, oh, that's WoW.
Do you still wish retail success, even if you just didn't publish it at all?
Absolutely wish. I hope retail with success. I wish, Ian Hazzikostas, all those guys, the best of luck, because WoW's retail success could spell success for Classic as well.
Yeah. And it's amazing. You get people in the Discord, you might get it in yours as well, like just people coming in that are new to even BFA, right? Like they just picked up Warcraft for the first time, let's say they're 17, 18. It still freaks me out when people are born after 2000, let me tell you. It's just so weird.
I know.
They're like, when are you born? 01, 03. I'm like, oh, God.
We're in the 80s over here, so it's like...
But they're falling in love with the game right now as we speak. At this very moment, those majestic moments that we had, they're having that right now in some capacity. Which is cool. Like they're having those.
Yeah.
I think Warcraft, and a lot of my older videos, and maybe in my current videos, I sound kind of like curmudgeony about it. But I definitely wish Warcraft franchise luck. I don't like where it's gone for me personally. But at the same time, like you said, if Warcraft does well as a franchise, Classic's going to do well, and vice versa. And I think that as long as the world of Warcraft exists, I think that's a world that's good for the world, and that's good for all of us. So,
let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that we kind of, in a way, have like a first world problem, and that we're kind of lucky in the fact that we could even be like complaining about a game that's so good that like we have to, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are so that we actually it's like this is probably without a doubt it's the best MMO out right now. Like, without a doubt. Yet we still have gripes about it, and we still, because it's such a good game that we look at it.
But
my
gripe is not the fact of its quality; it's the fact of using the word MMO. I don't believe that BFA is a true MMO anymore. That's my issue. But I'm saying it's a great game.
It's a different kind of MMO.
Yes, it's an action.
It's an action RPG.
That's
what Tip said, right? Action RPG. I like that. It's a little bit different.
And then I'll agree. Yeah, sure. It's the best action RPG MMO out there. But as far as like what made me fall in love with WoW was the original MMO qualities, and that's what I think is missing from the game, and that's why I think for me it's not an option anymore. But that doesn't. Please, anyone who's listening to this right now who plays BFA, I still love you, man. Like it's nothing to do with
Same here.
It's me.
We're all in the same little family. Yeah. We're in the Warcraft
family. It's our first world problems we have here.
Exactly. It's my own little thing that I can't do.
And if private servers didn't exist, if WoW Classic did not exist, while I would still have some things I didn't like about retail so much, and I'm an old head when it comes to this stuff, I'd still be playing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I would. So would I.
I would too. I would too. If I wasn't so invested on my character on the private server, right? Yeah. Absolutely would be playing BFA.
And you asked me earlier, right, Phil, that you asked me about if there's anything I want to like talk about, right? There's one thing. There's one thing. Like if everyone just forgets who I am after this video, that's perfectly fine. But just please remember this one thing. It's just like a little thought experiment. So right now, my main gripe with BFA, it was with Legion, it goes back to probably Kata, it probably goes back to whenever, is they make you feel like you're the main character in the story. In World War in retail, they make you feel you're like Moses. Everywhere you go, everything is just the Red Sea is parting. Thrall's like bowing down to you. Jaina's like, oh, your majesty. Like, everyone is just like you're like the mover and shaker of the friggin' universe. Everywhere you go, like you're just the shit. Like I don't like that, dude. I would rather be a little pleb Goldshire footman. Like if I'm a warrior, I'd rather my quest be like go do a little foot patrol in the forest of Elwyn Forest, and you go off and like your little buddy like Jack gets killed by like a gnoll, and you have to go out and like kill 3 gnolls, and that's the power level.
Exactly.
That would be sweet because then you're in this huge world and like you see these big characters and you just look up to them and you kind of revere them and stuff. Like, that's the power level I'd like to be closer to. And maybe it's not. Maybe that's too extreme. You know what I mean? But
in original WoW, you were a piece of a much larger machine.
Yep.
And in current WoW, you are the machine, and that's the big difference. And how could you be the machine if there's millions of other people playing?
That's what I'm saying. It takes away from the what's the word? Immersion. When I'm the leader of my class hall, and then all of a sudden you walk into class hall and there's 50 other friggin' leaders of the class hall.
How does it even make sense? How can everybody be the main character? It doesn't make sense, right?
How can more than one person have the Ashbringer?
Exactly.
And that. I couldn't get over that part. Like I really couldn't. It really bothered me in Legion. Like
I'd rather be like a druid, just a regular druid in the Emerald Circle. You walk into your class hall and they're like, "What's up, pleb? Go get me some coffee over there."
Exactly. Like and it makes you feel like you're part of something, which I love because like I loved being in vanilla and BC where you're, well, in vanilla especially where you're ranking up, your actions gave you a higher place in the world, especially in PvP. So if you spent a lot of time PvPing, you ranked up and you felt like you were now like a high warlord. You're the general. Like you are legit. Like you put in the hours to become who you are. But if you're not doing it, you're a pawn, you're a grunt, you're just like I said, another part of the machine. And in vanilla, you really felt that. In BC, a little less because you didn't have the ranking system like you did in vanilla. But I missed that so much because it was so immersive. The immersion that you got from that, and like walking into a place where you see, all the cinematic just happened, and then you load out of the cinematic, and there's 20 other people who are there in the cinematic, the same one that you were. Like, no, that was supposed to be me. That was my moment. Like, no, you're not this. I agree. And I think Blizzard did this to appeal to the casual player. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just thinking like this, or to the.
Do people want that though? Do people want to be the main character? I don't know. I guess they do.
I guess.
Yeah.
If you were just polled a regular player, would you poll them asking the question, "Do you want to be the main character in the Warcraft universe?" I don't know. I mean, people are going to say yes.
That's a good question. But the way I look at it is a very simple, logical thing. So World of Warcraft came from tabletop games, okay? It's tabletop games, if you've never played them, it's an RPG on a table. You play with other people.
Warhammer, dude? I love Warhammer.
Yeah, like Warhammer or D&D or Pathfinder, right? So in those games, you have to play with other people. So I think that's what... And you are a small piece of... You are this... The king sends you on a mission, you and these 4 or 5 other people, right? So, like, the problem with current WoW is it moved away from the tabletop basis of what a RPG should be, an MMORPG, and that's why me, as a person, Melderon, I'm not talking about anyone else or what you should or should not do, I cannot get invested in current game. I tried. I really tried. And in Legion I tried, and Warlords I tried, and then and even Kata and MoP I tried, and I just couldn't, I didn't feel that. So... and technologically, those expansions were amazing. Mist of Pandaria looked beautiful. I mean, even though I wasn't into the Asian theme, I still thought it was amazing.
And the zones, they've done a good job with the zones, man. Even in BFA, like the Alliance zones, kind of reminded me of classic WoW. I love some of the zones.
Trustvar and I still, even if I don't play the game, I still keep up with all the I watch Novel, I watch some other people who are retail. YouTubers, and I really enjoyed a lot of the aesthetics in the game, and even like the city, the new city. What's it called? In Kulturus, the main city.
Kulturus. Oh, the city's name. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they have like Freehold and all these different so cool, and I love that oceanic theme. Yeah. And even the Horde, the Zandalar, like that Mayan,
the Mayan dinosaurs. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. It is. It's really cool. And it just makes me want to experience it. But then I think about the other part that goes along with it. And, I heard the PvP system has been doing pretty good, even though I really didn't agree with the change of, this is Battle for Azeroth, and we're going to kind of take away PvP servers. You have to activate it, whatever. But I heard it's actually been a success so far.
The other issue I have with retail is this. I mean, I'm more of a PvPer at this point, and I'm just regurgitating. I'll keep it very short, but it is a very savage community, the PvP community, when you in retail WoW. Like, there's no solo queue system. So, like in Hearthstone, you queue up for a game instantly. You're fine. You get a game. You can play solo. You can still rank and go on the leaderboards. If you want to, do 3s or 2s or whatever, you have to find people in the Finder tool. And people are so mean-spirited. You make one error, and they're like telling you to KYS and stuff. And it's very closed off, and again, it's not conducive to like a really healthy sort of funnel of new players and all this. So I really hope to see some sort of changes with the PvP system where it's more inclusive and
which is why
more noob friendly. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want arena and vanilla, but I think that's the beauty of not having arena and vanilla, is that you don't have. It's more like a war, when you raid a city or when you are in a battleground. I think Warcraft tried to emulate the war factor, and it wasn't about dueling. And I think that's a huge thing about why, yes, Arena is great, but leave it for TBC when it comes out. I think that we should keep vanilla without Arena, because for situations like that, actually, it's not what the game was about. But
you get a lot of elitist, type of thinking, and I was in TBC,
and of course there's elitist in vanilla WoW. I'm not saying there's not elitist in vanilla WoW.
Oh, absolutely. And in TBC, I even think I was one of them. I was really like, I got to the point where I thought I was the best freaking disc priest ever. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I'm not going to play with this guy because, and I'm kind of ashamed of that today because it's not like really who I am as a person. But you kind of get that when you are forced in this environment where you're,
where you have to rank.
You have to rank with other people. You have a choice. Well, I don't want to lose my rank because this person's an idiot. So, and you're kind of forced into this. I don't know. I honestly don't know how Blizzard has not implemented solo queue yet. I thought that would have been something they would have done a while ago, especially with all the advocates you have. I mean, huge YouTube PvPers who are advocating for solo queue. They still haven't freaking done it.
They need solo queue, dude. It is so mandatory, dude. Like,
and meanwhile, they're implementing, forced personal loot, which I thought was a horrible choice, especially for progression. I saw guilds making these like huge, like 10-page long, thing that you have to sign. What the hell's it called?
Contract, right? Contract. I was watching Asmongold reacting to it and stuff.
That?
Yeah, right. I saw that.
So the way it works, Phil, is like everyone gets their own loot, personal loot, right? But what the contract is saying that personal loot is not your loot; it's the guild's loot. So even if you get something yourself, it has to go to the guild. But if it's a higher enough item level, you can't trade it. So you can just say, "Oh, well, it's it's too high for me to trade," and you have all these issues with it. It's ridiculous. In order to have a good guild system, I think you need to have a loot option for the guild. That distributes loot in that way. And I think taking that choice away from the player was a huge mistake. I don't like how Blizzard has gone with that. There are some changes that I definitely think that they have done well. Whether it's become like the Mythic Plus, all this kind of stuff. But sometimes I think like, what are they thinking? And at times when I feel like they listen to the player base too much, sometimes you're like, well, the entire player base is asking for something different. I would say like 90% of the people were asking for not the personal loot, and the what was the other one? The world CD, the off the world CD thing. Like 99% of the people I felt like were against this. They didn't even listen to it. You have to listen to like a small group of people who want some change, some obscure change, and then they'll go ahead and put that in the game. I don't understand it. Yeah,
and it ultimately just all these things, like even the scaling with the mobs and stuff. It just further demotivates me whenever I log into retail. Like I don't feel that passion to play, man. I love the simplicity of the formula of vanilla, just going out there. The open plains of Mulgore, killing some plain striders, leveling up.
Yeah, and if you stray too far away, you'll know that there's red mobs that will hit you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like, I think that's I think that Vanilla WoW, it may be to many people very rough and unfiltered, but that's legitimately what made it so freaking good.
So true.
And I think that for anyone who's listening to this that's new to Warcraft and just started BFA, please, when Classic comes out, just try it. Just try it. I'm sure it'll be free for you since you already bought BFA. Just give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah,
I think so too. So Kargoz, there's something else. Definitely, well, there's other stuff we can talk about, but there's something else I really want to touch on. Is you've been doing this 24-hour streaming? Can you talk about that? Maybe perhaps where that's maybe evolving into?
Yeah, thank you for that. So this is something I'd like to get feedback from as many people as possible. I want to see if that's something you guys want. Like, so we can't, full transparency, we can't stream private server gameplay. That's not cool. But, we have this situation where Blizzard wants content creators to keeping the hype and enthusiasm up for Classic, but you can't play on private servers. So what are you going to do? Tell each other bedtime stories? Like, what are we going to do? So, like, this is an option, right? We can do a 24/7 kind of channel, a little home, a little place. It's positive. It's good vibes. We're running a slate of content, maybe 8 hours of content. Maybe it's on repeat, so you catch a little section of it. You tune back in later, but something that you just always have in the back of your mind. Look, I can go to this spot. And there's going to be Classic content available for me in some capacity. And what I've been doing this past week, I've been testing it out, feeling it out, playing lots of music and ambiance from all the favorite zones we love, because the music triggers a lot of us. I hear the Winter Spring music. I hear the Barrens music. I hear the Elwyn Forest music. And I know what's up. And the response has been positive so far. And people have liked it. They're going to sleep to it. They're grading papers to it. They're doing stuff like that. But please, I'm genuinely, it would really help me if you can comment and say, is that something you guys might want? a 24/7 TV channel of sorts for classic WoW content.
Yeah, just to clarify, this would not be just music. This would be music. It would be one small part of it. It'd be like interviews, guides, movies about machinima. Anything you can think of would be anything related to WoW. Would be a 24-hour television channel where you can tune in, and it kind of takes away the instead of you searching for something, you can just sit back and just kind of let it play. So let Kargoz know what you would think about that. Please either go on his YouTube channel, let him know, or you can put in the comments below this interview. Just tell him would you be a part of this and would you enjoy it? Yeah.
I personally would like to say I think it's something that not only is needed for the community to come together and kind of have a place to go to, but I think it's something that will hopefully draw some people in to be able to see, okay, what is this all about? People maybe that are not familiar with it, and people that are familiar with it, to have kind of somewhere to go, have a a home, a place to go and experience all the things you love about.
And hopefully the channel could be what you guys have been saying for so long, is be a good WoW ambassador for the newer players too.
Absolutely.
Higher production value. You tune in, you have maybe a couple hours of just interviews and stuff like this, off the cuff kind of talks and stuff like that, a couple hours of guides and stuff like that, a couple hours of this, a couple hours of that, and I don't know. You guys get it.
I think it's a great idea. Have the introductions, things like, okay, what to expect if you're going to play a hunter in vanilla. Okay, you got to level your pet. You got to have skills you got to level. You got to feed your pet. Things like this. People that people who haven't played vanilla might not know. There's a lot of things in vanilla WoW that's different that came later in the game. It's a completely different animal. Maybe we could offer tips and pointers for people who may not know or may have forgotten. It's been a long time for a lot of people. And even for the people that are familiar with these things, we want to have something, I imagine you want to have something for them as well, to have something that's okay, guys, this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to focus on this. And I think it's an opportunity for people to really come together and feel let's get the hype together. Let's do this. So personally, I think it's a great idea, Kargoz. I really do.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely go forward with that. Guys, let him know what you guys think, please.
And it could be a collaboration of sorts. A lot of good content creators you guys we come together. We make even more awesome content because we're all collabing. And I also imagine some kind of space where people like you guys and me and a lot of other people can come together and help each other with production and stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do when it comes to, certain
great idea.
video, transitions and music and all types of stuff. I could learn a lot from guys, so if people can come together, I think it would just benefit everybody. I don't know.
That's a great idea. A way to bring our community even closer together.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. I think it's something to really look forward to.
Yeah.
So what else are your plans for your channel? Things that you've been working on? I know that this is a big project for you, but what else have you been kind of?
So I've been trying to create content that's going to appeal to a lot of people, that just like World of Warcraft in general. And if you run into the situation where you can only make so many guides, right? And sometimes you feel like you're going to make a guide. Am I really that qualified to make a guide? I'm not the best player. I'm really not. I'm solid. I've played for a bunch of years, but so I've been making these guys. But there's the guy the content you guys create. As a fellow person in this community, it really hits home. A lot of the content that I make is surface level. It's the top 10 celebrities who play World of Warcraft. It's kind of a fun, lighthearted video people can enjoy. But I want to sort of steer towards more your direction of just kind of putting my heart out on the sleeve, talking about the love for the game, more off the cuff stuff, and just put myself out there a little bit more in hopes that it brings people together more. So that's what I plan for the personal channel. But again, I want to potentially build out this network, this OTT network, whatever you want to call it, for Classic WoW, 24/7 content and all that. But I talked about this before. Consistency is my main issue, especially when it comes to this stuff. I know, my heart is in a place where I know I want to create content. I want to do this, and this is going to be my legacy. I want to basically full time just play games, talk to you guys about it, promote positivity in gaming, bring people close together. If you're dealing with some stuff in real life, have gaming and Warcraft and community be a way for you to get through that and to transcend through that, because we've all been there, to help people out.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to do, so whatever it's going to take to get there, that's what I want to do.
I love this kind of stuff, man. It's amazing to see what the community of WoW can really do. There has been some amazing things that have come up from people coming together, for this game. You know what I mean? It's the passion that we have, and it really shows in people like yourself, Kargos, when it's something that you love, it's something that you're passionate about, and it shows in your work. And I think it brings people together as well, which is really amazing about WoW. I joke with people and talk about, oh yeah, this is how can you spend so much time talking about a game, playing a game, like your whole life revolves around this game. But for a lot of people, including myself, like it's not just a game. It really
It's
isn't.
not.
It's an experience. It's brought me. It's helped me in a lot of ways. I've had some struggles in my past where I had nothing to turn to other than WoW. It's helped me grow as a human being. Doing these shows has helped me be better at public speaking, things like that. Like it's really WoW in general has helped me grow as a human being.
And in my opinion, the relationships that are strongest in life are the ones that have this common interest, this common thread. You can go party with X, Y, or Z, and you go do whatever you want to do with them, but those relationships don't last that much. At least in my experience, my closest friends to this day are my high school bros. Like we have never been. I still talk to them all the time on Skype, and it's WoW that like kept us together through all the years. When your brother moves to Deutschland, that's going to be so sad. But the fact you guys can still play together and do all that, this the common interest of Warcraft, that those are the relationships that last, in my opinion. So
that's absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely. And two things. So one thing I definitely want to hit on is the consistency thing that you're so worried about. I think we're all worried about it, Kargoz, and I think like it's the way I combat the consistency thing is take breaks, and I think is if when I hammer stuff out, like there was like when I remember like a couple months ago, we were putting out like 5 videos a week. That was so bad for me, dude. Like, I mean, I'm sure the viewers liked it, but it was. I'm not saying don't put out videos, Kargoz. I'm just saying that I'm just trying to give you advice from like another person who has that problem too. I think that if you can space out and have you time in between, I think that's the best way to not get burned out, or consistent. So I think burnout and consistency are like two parts of the same puzzle. And at least for me, when I feel burned out, my consistency goes down. And I think that goes with work too. So I have to balance work too with this, and for all of you out there who are waiting for like the next big video of ours to come out, it's coming. I'm sorry, it was just we've been really busy. I'm trying
my
to finish
guides
up.
are almost complete.
Yeah.
They will be coming out might even actually be out before this video. So, but yeah.
So anyway, but I think that's the best thing, dude. Just pace yourself.
The thing is, I don't know if you feel this, if you fall into this same category, but it's like, I'm the type of person, I remember Alex Central had a video like this too, and I really related with it in the sense that I'm like a light switch. I'm either on, my head's down, I'm executing, I'm going 100 miles a minute, like, I'm literally grinding like an animal, like just ascending through the ranks up to, just doing whatever, or I'm off. Like, I have to find more of a balance in my life, a more equilibrium. Like,
me too.
Scheduling, for me, like having a schedule is huge. Like, if I say, okay, today, like I have this much time to work on a video, to do this, and sometimes it's hard. Like if you work at home, it's very hard, because it's hard to kind of differentiate work from play, and doing something fun and trying to work. So I think it's very important to have like that schedule. Like as humans, I feel like having some kind of schedule and some kind of routine is almost necessary, for me at least. It definitely is.
Yeah,
and if we were to band together as content creators and a bunch of us got together, we could also have accountability for each other and be like, dude, what's going on with you, bro? Like, you haven't done anything in like, you all right? You good? Like, you haven't put anything out in a couple weeks, whatever it is.
That's why it's very it helps a lot having the channel with my brother and I, because like, there could be a time where he's very busy and I need to step up, and I'm very busy and he steps up, and it's like, it helps a lot having that camaraderie. And I think that would be something absolutely to help out too. So
and it's I think like and if you're not a content creator, this still applies to you, right? So if you play WoW, most 9 times out of 10 you probably play it too much than you should. myself included. I'm not saying I'm like not doing that, but so like what the thing with gaming is, and definitely in Warcraft, and I'm not going to sound preachy, but I'm not. I'm just trying to give advice. If you're leveling up in the game, you should level up in real life, and I think that's. You gotta have you gotta have some kind of balance between life and Warcraft, and if you're not doing that, one of them are gonna suffer. You don't want Warcraft to suffer, right? So I'm not saying like do too much life in Warcraft. I'm just saying just try to find a happy balance, and like if you're becoming level 60 and getting rank 14, go try to get a promotion, or like go back to school, or just
Life's
something.
all
You know,
about balance, man.
life goal. You know, just have.
And it's also, you said something that really struck on me. It's Matt, right? Matt and Phil. So Matt said something the other day, right? It was on one of your DefTalks. I think you guys were smoking the cigars in that one.
Yeah.
You were talking about how, like, you know, you never thought you'd be able to build yourself back up at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like you saw people that were going off, and we can relate on this. We're East Coast boys. Like, you see people going off, they're being successful. You sort of feel everyone is fighting their own great battles. I don't care how well off or how poor you are. You all have your own demons, right? And you can, oftentimes it's a relatable feeling where you feel like you're too far gone, right? And I think it is a good responsibility. It's a good thing as a human and in Warcraft and in real life to be there for people, to help people pick it back up and show them, like, look, it's not too late, like, at all. You're fine. Like, you're totally fine. You can get back together, and, like, tomorrow you can wake up and be a different person. You know what I mean? Like, and to be able to use Warcraft as that medium. So let's say there's some people out there that are just binging on Warcraft. Maybe they got a divorce. They're in a bad spot mentally, physically. They're just not feeling good. They're in a bad spot. We got to be good community ambassadors or whatever, help them pick up the pieces, show them, look, it's not too late, not at all. Like, we're all going to live to like 200. We're going to be like cyborgs. So, like, just
So we can play WoW forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, man. And that goes with the territory of, you know, being the social game, having understanding these are like human beings behind this game, and when you really become part of, like, you know, whether it's a guild or you meet these people, like, it becomes like a family. It really does. Like, I've met people in WoW that have become such good friends, you know, like, and you kind of have that accountability with each other. Like, yo, man, you know, how you doing? And sometimes you feel more comfortable sharing things, you know, with people online than you would maybe with someone in real life. And, like, I've had people come to me, and when I was going through my trouble in my life, I had a couple of people who I felt a lot more comfortable talking to them than I did talking to people in real life. And I really got a lot of help through certain people when I was going through that thing. And it's really amazing to think that happened through a game, you know?
Amazing.
And
Amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Just
amazing.
There's a lot we can learn. Yeah.
There's a lot of good we can spread through this game. You know, as silly as that sounds, there really is, man. Like, there's something that unites all of us. It doesn't matter if you're playing retail or classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I think the reason why is that you don't have to be, when you meet someone in real life, you have to bring them into your private zone, right? And in WoW, you don't have to do that. So you can literally, I'm not saying be someone you're not, but you can be your best person, or you can interact with someone in a very short amount of time without even seeing each other. So you can have a positive interaction without trying hard, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you don't have to try hard to have a positive interaction in WoW. And I think that it goes the same for being a negative interaction, but you never have to try hard to do a negative interaction. That's easy. So, like, but it's a much easier to be positive in WoW than it is in real life. And I think that's a great way of trying to, you know, if you're going to do something just, you know, positive, it's very easy to do, I think. And then you can make or break someone's game experience. Like, you know, we had that Melderon run a couple nights ago, Defcamp. We had some people that didn't know the quests lines in there, and we tried to, you know, we got them through it, and, you know, that thanked us in the long run. And then we got to shooting the crap, and they found out we had a YouTube channel, and boom, we have a few new subscribers. Just, you know, I'm not trying, like,
it's that karma you were talking about, right?
Exactly.
You do good things, and the good will come back. It's so true, thoh.
And then they're on Discord saying, "Hey, thanks for the Melderon run," you know. So it's
right,
like, you
and
know,
then you meet new
just
friends. It's it's like and I definitely think that, you know, karma. Like, I'm not, you know, is it? I don't know. I feel like in WoW, karma is definitely real. You know what I mean? Especially in WoW, but
especially in vanilla with the static communities, like, it's way, you know, compared to retail.
Yeah. When you actually see the person over and over again, man. I have a mod called NPC scan. So whenever someone, like, ganks you or something like that, you can type it in there and add them. So next time you see them, but
really?
Yeah.
That's cool,
It's
man.
pretty cool. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's something about WoW that, like, unlike any other game, that just brings people together. So I wanted to ask you before, you know, we ended all. So when Classic comes out, what are your plans? What Classic's out? You know, you're making your character. What are your plans? What are you going to do? What are you going to do for the channel? Like, altogether, what are your plans?
Yeah, I think my plan is to first and foremost be a positive figure in the community. To be honest, any gear goals or speed leveling goals are pretty low on my priority list. I just want to promote positivity and inclusiveness in this community, get people to love this game and to experience this game that I love, you know, and just to spread that with people, to be a good community ambassador, create good content, and create strong relationships with people like you guys, and go to BlizzCon and go to all these places and just be part of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to be a figurehead in the community. I'm going to work towards that and just chase the dream.
That's awesome, man. That's a great goal, and I definitely think this community could definitely use you as a figurehead. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the community has used a figurehead already, and I think that we had the same goal. We want to just become more of a voice than we maybe already are. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can and show that the game is a lot more amazing than what maybe is generally thought of by even private server players that kind of just use it as a tool maybe to just play. So I think that's what we want to do, and that's just so. There's another question that I had for you, Kargoz, and is what would Blizzard have to do to Classic to not make you play it? Is there a threshold of changes that can occur that
maybe if they turned it into like one of the Korean or Japanese style MMOs, if they just went that path and it just became like super weeby, then maybe it would be like because I've played some of them, because some of my close friends, they play some of the Japanese or Korean MMOs, so I've tried it, and then I reach a certain cringe level that I just physically cannot log into the game anymore. Like I can't do it. Like they have the characters and they're just like insanely busty, and they make like little weird noises and stuff.
Right? Like,
that'd probably be it. But ultimately, I'm a simple man. Blizzard makes a product. I say, take my money. Here you go. Let me try it out. You know what it is. But that might
totally
be
respect that. Yeah, I totally respect that. I think that we try to ask that question to everyone to kind of see like where, only because we don't know what. We know we're going to get probably 1.12 talent build. We know we're going to have at least an option for old graphics, considering they have someone coding that back from that job posting. So we don't really know what's going to happen yet. So we're still out in the air. John Stats, who we had on last DefTalk, who was one of the original WoW Dungeon designers, thinks that it's going to be about 70% of what we were used to in private servers, and that may be scary for some people and not for others. So we just try to gauge the community and see how everybody feels about. If they change the graphics, will you still play it? If they put LFG in the game, will you still play it? That kind of thing.
LFG definitely would be a bummer. I hope that it is no changes for this one, but like I said, I put out a video the other day just as a thought experiment called World of Warcraft Remastered. And I do want eventually at some point, because they've already spent so much time fleshing out these quests and fleshing out this universe and the zones, that you wouldn't have to re-expend all the energy creating a new thing. Just build upon that knowledge base and make it even better and more rich and more. I want to see at some point, maybe after Classic has gone through its whole life cycle and the game has had its hype and it's gone down, the community has got what it's wanted for so long, and it kind of normalizes and stuff, and we're at that next stage. I hope they rebuild World of Warcraft, just re-release it as World of Warcraft with a brand new engine, new mechanics. It looks amazing. Same zones, maybe even the same quests, but maybe with voice acting super fleshed out. Looks unbelievable. I would love. That's my dream. If I ever become an out of touch baller, that's what I'm going to put my money towards.
We actually played with this idea because we were thinking, in like down the line, or maybe a special server where, because we talked about we all want to have the classic experience, but imagine if there was an experience where it was like as long as we have the option to do both. Like I would love to be able to have our classic WoW the way it is, and that's it. That's pure. That's the classic WoW. But also have the the remastered version where you might have a patch 1.13. You might have things like voice actors. You might have this, which would be a totally different experience. But you would still have the classic WoW as the pure classic WoW, and then be able to experience this other thing. I think that would be something amazing to explore. Because when it comes down to it, like there's so much they could really do with with WoW, with classic WoW especially. That would be, I think, amazing. Like the patch 1.13. But I think first we have to try. We should probably focus on the classic, work on this, and then something down the road. I think that would be an amazing project.
Definitely.
To work eventually, yeah.
That would be great. And you, like you said, you preserve it like for historical purposes. It's the best game ever made. It's the GOAT. It's just it's so good. And then you create like a separate thing. I definitely like that strategy.
Yeah, because I think as long as you keep the core gameplay mechanics of classic WoW, the social interactions, the longer leveling, the 40-man raid system, all these things, and you continue to add horizontal content so that you're not increasing the item level, you're just creating more adventures for you guys for you to go on. So then I think a 1.13 system is great because it's the only MMO in existence that really has that core social aspect. That's a real MMO, really, in my opinion, that continues on, and it's a possibility. And I think I think that's something they're seriously considering. I know there's a lot of people that just want the Burning Crusade to come out, and that's where the next evolution comes.
I do as well.
Yeah,
I want that.
And I'm sure that's
right?
something they're going to think about as well. But I don't know if it's going to be both. I think it's going to be one or the other, and I think it's important that you guys.
It's gonna be something down the line for a while. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
like
going to be a while.
10
I think
years
it's going to be. We're going to have Classic for a while, and I think that then they'll consider. It depends on Classic success. I think that then they'll consider.
One thing that I think everyone can agree on, maybe not everyone, but anyone who is passionate about the game, is we want World of Warcraft to be a thing for years to come in some capacity, right? We don't want it to just because that's an option. It could just dissolve out and not be relevant anymore. That would be a massive bummer. I would not want that.
Look at it this way: could we possibly have our children play the game that we started on? Think about
Bro,
that.
I intend to. I want to have them playing in VR, going through Duskwood. Like, oh my god, Dad!
Could you imagine, dude? Could you imagine that? WoW in V.
Yeah.
Like an actual. Dude, I would love that. Like casting, like Shadow Bolt or.
I was
talking to my roommates.
Gloves on and like.
I was talking to my roommates. Have you guys? I know Matt have seen it. Have you seen Ready Player One, Kargoz, the movie?
Ready Player One, no.
Yeah. Okay, so basically the premise, just if you haven't seen it, is that it's a virtual reality world based upon this video game that this guy created. Can you imagine Ready Player One based in the Warcraft universe?
Dude.
So
would it be sick?
It would be, just think 10, 20 years from now that you can actually log into your character and be your character.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what dude, if I ever get like super rich, like I said, like if I become an out of touch baller, that's going to be my that's going to be my altruistic cause. It's not going to be towards like fruit fly genetic research, even though I really love what you're doing. It's going to be
space exploration.
Dude, fuck Mars, dude. We're talking about building something way more important
Fuck
here.
Mars, let's go to Azeroth.
World of Warcraft again, dude.
There you go.
That's hysterical.
Mission Azeroth. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a possibility. But yeah, Warcraft has the potential to be one of those games that can last for generations, and I think that if they treat it that way with respect, and I think we'll see Warcraft for a long time coming. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to ask that question. So I'm looking forward to see what the future holds, and I'm just looking forward to see what happens, and I hope the Classic WoW team, the people who Blizzard have hired, are really in touch with what we want. So.
I actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kargoz.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
I recently listened to the Countdown to Classic interview with the guy, I forget, Nano, when he was at the guy from Nostalrius. He was at the meeting that Blizzard had when they brought Nostalrius over and talked to them. And from the impression that I got, like even from the guys like Jay Allen Brack, Matt Moore, all these Ian Hazakassis, all these key role people, like they all really seemed interested in the Classic. They all wanted to succeed. And I really feel like they kind of understand the implications and the amount of love and passion that people have for this game. So I really feel like they're taking this seriously, like they want this to succeed. And it kind of eased my trepidations. It eased my mind a little bit. I'm like talking like but it eased my mind a little bit to think that these guys have really, they care about this game. They treat it like it's almost like a child of theirs. I really think that they want this to succeed. So that made me feel a little bit better about the whole situation.
That's good to hear. Yeah, that's really good to hear, man.
But dude, Kargoz, I mean, it was amazing to have on here. I'll keep talking Classic WoW for another hour.
I know, dude. You guys are so chill, man. Anytime, I'm always here.
Guys, I want to say again, please go over to Kargoz.
Actually, we should let him plug away. Actually,
yeah, go ahead and plug.
Oh, it's just type Kargoz in YouTube.
There you go.
Yeah, he's also has a Facebook, and he has an Instagram, and he has a Twitter. So they're all underneath his name if you want to see, and they'll be in the links in the description.
Yeah. Guys, if you haven't checked out Kargoz, please go and check him out. Also, let us know either on this video's comments over on Kargoz page about the idea that he had about that 24-hour stream channel. I think that's a great idea, but also, you guys, your opinions is what matters. So let him know, let us know, And Kargoz is always putting out great content, guys. Make sure you checking him out. What he's up to next, you always got to check that out. So, Phil, do you want to do any housekeeping?
Yep, housekeeping, sure.
Yeah.
If you want to be on DefTalk, email us at melderon.gaming@gmail.com. We don't care who you are. You don't have to be like someone like Kargoz or John Stats. You can be Joe at the downtown supermarket who plays WoW. We don't care.
Deli.
Yeah, the deli. You can come on DefTalk and talk with us about Warcraft. We have a Twitter. And we know our YouTube, obviously. If you're listening on a podcast system, if you're listening on, we are also available on iTunes. Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. If you're on one of those listening to us now, we have a YouTube channel that you should check out as well that makes other stuff other than Def Talks. And lastly, but not least, we have a Patreon that if you want to become a patron, we have some pretty interesting rewards, and we would like to have, if you want to help us make better content and support us in a way other than YouTube, you can support us directly through Patreon. So
do it, guys, do it. They're the realest out, I'm telling you. They're way realer than me, man.
Stop me.
No, but that's, Kargoz, I appreciate that, and it's really nice to have feedback from people, and thanks. I mean, we get feedback a lot, but it's good to have feedback from content creators because we have the same way of looking at this stuff. So thank you, I appreciate that a lot.
No problem, man.
All right, guys.
Defcamp, do you want to send us off?
Guys, again, thank you so much. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say. We recently got over 2,000 subscribers.
Oh God, yeah. How did I forget that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like yesterday. Yeah.
I can't believe it literally just feels like we just hit 1,000 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It just felt really quick.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to you guys. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This means so much to us. I don't know. It's just amazing to think that, people really like our content and, really cared about it. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart, guys. Seriously. But until next time, this is Defcamp signing out.
And this is Melderon and our special guest,
Kargoz.
Signing off.
All right, guys. Keep on keybinding and grinding.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Peace.